Hi. So I was sitting here talking to y'all and everything and realized I had not started the stream, so it was like totally worthless. Okay, so what I was trying to say, is that, in the link below, um, there'll be 6 links in the description below, whether you are on Twitch or YouTube, and I just made sure that Twitch had it for every single video. Um, anyway, there will be a link for each one of my books. One link for each book. That still doesn't sound right. There's going to be 6 links, and there's 6 books. There you go. So, so I don't want to confuse anybody, but, trying to explain it is just, with my writer's mind is, a little hard. But anyway, my books are available in hardback, paperback, and ebook. The link, each link will take you to Amazon where that book that you clicked on is, and you should be able to, you know, go on there and buy it. Um, and they come in hardback, paperback, and ebook. If I didn't say that, they are The Rolling Sea Beginnings Book 1, Pirate's Daughter, The Rolling Sea Beginnings Book 2, Misfortune, The Rolling Sea Beginnings Book 3, Hard Times, later in the series, The Rolling Sea Traitor Book 1, Esperanza's Party, The Rolling Sea Traitor Book 2, The Island, coming soon, which hopefully means anytime in between now and the end of the day, November 30th. Um, yeah, will be The Rolling Sea Traitor Book 3, Lessons in Love. And then, and then after that, I'm probably going to work on Test in Love. But I also want to work on Finding Love. I know a lot of love ones, but that's just how it ended up. Finding Love is The Rolling Sea Beginnings Book 4. But I haven't even started working on that one yet. And I don't know if it's like finished, or if I'm going to have to major rewrite while I'm working on it or what. I just can't remember right now because I've been working on Lessons in Love as much as I can. I did get some more of it done yesterday, and I'm pretty happy with that. The other thing I was telling you about, when you couldn't hear me because I hadn't started the stream, and I feel really dumb right now, but that's okay. It's not like I'm feeling so dumb that I'm gonna do something bad to myself. It's not that bad. I just feel kind of dumb. Because I stream so many times, so many times during the week, or I stream every day. So, sometimes I think I'm streaming and then I'm like, oh no, I didn't start it yet. So like I go and do it all over again. Um, but we've got the modem a lot closer to my setup over here, and it seems to be working a lot better. A lot better. So, we haven't had like any crashes. Knock on wood, praise God. Thank God. Um, we haven't had any crashes, and I know I'm jinxing the heck out of it, but hopefully it won't happen. Um, anyway, so yesterday I got a call and it was like really late in the afternoon. So what is up with that? They were like trying to make sure that I would not be able to check up on this thing. Okay, so they called up, said that I had gotten a jury duty summons on August 15th, and I was in trouble for failure to appear and contempt of court and all that stuff, right? Well, first of all, I didn't get no paperwork for a jury duty summons, and second of all, when they give you a jury duty summons, you don't have to sign for it, and I just realized that. They just send it in the mail like normal, or at least they did in California before we moved to Nevada. So anyway, they just send it in. It's not like a certified letter or anything like that usually. Um, I've gotten several before, but it's one of those things where you call in and if your number's called, you go, and if your number's not called, I mean, they give you a certain number. I'm assuming this is still the way it goes, but anyway, they give you a certain number, and if your certain number isn't called on the phone call, um, you don't have to go. It's easy, simple. I've never actually gotten called in, so I don't know what happens after that. The only thing I know, um, I know from TV shows and movies, uh, you know, like, um, like there's an episode of Murder She Wrote, and I'm using that as an example because I actually, remember that right now off the top of my head because we've seen it recently. Um, so in that one, Jessica, she's the main character. Her name's Jessica Fletcher. She writes books. She writes mystery novels. And it's usually somebody, um, it's usually somebody died and, she, she writes out, all the suspects and who did it. I mean, toward the end, who did it and all that. And then it's like, but how did they do it? So yeah, that's probably why I like writing books so much. 'Cause I grew up watching Murder She Wrote, and I don't know why. You would think that a TV show like that would not be allowed to be played to, like a 7-year-old, but I'm pretty sure it was one of the shows I was watching at the time. That was back when like cartoons went until uh about 4 o'clock, and then there was nothing else to watch. So it's like, what do we watch? Because there wasn't any Cartoon Network, there wasn't any Nickelodeon. Well, there probably was Nickelodeon, but we didn't have it, or I didn't want to watch it. Um, I was still watching Dukes of Hazzard, Knight Rider, Wonder Woman. Yeah, I watched a lot of shows when I was a kid. Brady Bunch. Alf. Small Wonder. I watched a whole bunch of. Silver Spoons every once in a while. I really liked that they had like a train in the living room. I would like to give it a second chance though because I liked that show. It's just I hardly ever got to watch it because some other show was on in its time frame, I think, on a different channel, and or I always got there in the middle of it, something like that. So I would like to get I'd like to get the whole series on DVD and be able to watch it. Um, but anyway, okay, let's go back to that jury duty summons thing. Um, I was giving you a warning the first time, and it was all together instead of not all together like this one. But okay, so anyway, the another few red flags was that he was uh saying that we needed to compare signatures. Well, I'm one of those weird people who never signs it the same way twice. They were having I don't remember what I needed to. Oh, that I think that's what it was. Um some company, well, supposed company, sent me a $4,000 check that ended up being fraud, but they needed to get me to um they needed to get me to sign my name the same way twice, so it would match, and it didn't. And I could not do it. So I don't sign my name twice, and he's like, "Oh, that's not gonna matter." Yeah, really. Uh huh. I've had that problem before. What do you know? I didn't tell him that, but I was sure thinking it. I cannot sign my name the same way twice to save my life. So if you're gonna come to my house and try to make me sign my name the same way twice, or you're gonna shoot me, you're gonna have to shoot me because it's not gonna happen. Not that I'm trying to give anybody any ideas, mind you. But anyway, so he eventually he told me to go to Walmart. Oh yeah, and they wanted over $2,000. But they wanted me to go to Walmart and put it in a one account. I don't even know what a one account is. But yeah, we got to Walmart, and while I was waiting in line, because there was, thankfully there was a customer there that um there was a customer there that had a big box, maybe a vacuum cleaner. It's the only thing I could think of that might have been maybe an AC unit. I don't know. Anyway, it looked like too big of a box for a vacuum cleaner, but it looked like too small for some other kind of things. So, but anyway, thankfully, um, our friend Sherry, uh, without the E in her name, she has an A in her name instead. But anyway, um, our friend Sherry, she was at the desk, and she was, trying to make sure everything was in the box. So, that was taking a long time. So my husband walked over to talk to our other friend, Sherry. One is tallish with dark hair, and the other one's uh, kind of short like me with red hair. And unfortunately, she hit her head. So if you talk to God at all, please ask for prayers for Sherry, because she's fallen apart a little bit. I'm sure she wouldn't describe it that way, but she apparently she did something. She hit her head, and so they've got her up at the front. They've got her on a front register And I feel bad for her because I don't think she's going to be able to keep up. Especially for Christmas. Because people go and buy like thousands of things, or it sure seems like it, thousands of things, and you gotta ring them all up because they're trying to not have the self check anymore because people were like, they'd go up to the register and go beep, or they'd hold it up to where it does not beep at all and still put it in their bag. And as long as it's in the bag, they're not supposed to say anything. So, not good. Not good at all. So, having people up at the front isn't helping because they don't always check the receipts. They're supposed to. They're supposed to check them just like Costco. But anyway, so he wanted me to put money on there. Well, like I said, my husband went and talked to our friend Sherry, and then he saw our friend Nicole. Nicole's a nice person. She used to be our boss, and the problem is that I could never go to the bathroom when I needed to, and I'm like, no, I need to go now. And I was told day one, I was told during the interview that I would be able to go to the bathroom anytime I needed to, and that ended up being a lie. And I've got the small family bladder. So, so I seem to have to go more than the average person. And yeah, so they were stopping me from going to the bathroom. Sometimes they stopped me from going to my breaks. Sometimes they stopped me from going to my lunches. So, on more than one occasion, I was having my lunch in my 7th hour. And I was having my breaks in the last, or, wait a minute. Okay, so the last hour was a half an hour on the register, and before that, 2 breaks of 15 minutes. So that's, half an hour on the register and then a half an hour on breaks. And then the hour before that was the one where I had my lunch. So it was a nice little setup, but before that, I was like dying on the vine. But anyway, we went over. He went over and talked to Nicole. She came over and she told the guy that he was a scam. So he hasn't called back. And like I said, as soon as we can, we're going to double back. We're going to go over there and have my husband go in and talk to them and see if I'm okay or if it was for real and should have done something about it sooner. But it did sound like a scam. The guy kept saying 10-4 instead of yes or affirmative. I've noticed that cops say affirmative or yes. They might say yeah, but I usually hear them say yes or affirmative. I don't know why it would have been a cop thing anyway, because and well, I don't know why it would have been a cop thing. It would have been a court thing, you know. But anyway, somehow the person had my email address and my address. So anyway, I'm warning all of you so you don't fall for the same problem. I'm sure the people out of America don't have to worry about it. I'm hoping the people, the people that watch me out of America do not have to do not have to deal with this. But in America, they think that they can get away with it, and we get like at least 8 spam calls a day usually, and hopefully it won't happen again. But I'm doubting that. But yeah, we usually get 8 spam calls a day, Medicare and car insurance and what was the other one? I don't remember what the other one was, but auto accidents. They're calling us about our most recent auto accident. Well, it's like my most recent auto accident happened while I was either while I was at Walmart or shortly after I didn't work there anymore. One of those two. Maybe it was while I was working there and I just had a day off, but I think it was before or after. But anyway, we were in oddly enough, the Walmart parking lot. North Carson Walmart. And we're going down the aisle in his car, and wouldn't you know it, some chick on her cell phone having a bad day crashed right into the car. It was still drivable, but she was going way too fast in the parking lot, like 35, 40, something like that, probably. You're supposed to be going 5, maybe 10 at the most in a parking lot. And anyway, she crashed right into us, and I was more upset about it than he was, apparently. Well, he's not really our friend anymore because he's kind of a jerk. it, I personally think he's bipolar, and he really needs some medicine for bipolarness, because like he'll be talking to us and just fine and everything, and then all of a sudden he'll be yelling at us like we're criminals or something. So, it's not okay. And one time his cat was acting up, so he was literally, I mean, it was the heat of passion, but still, he was literally threatening to hit his cat's head against the wall because he had let it out off leash. It's like, I don't care what your reasoning is, you are not going to hurt that cat. I should have turned him in, really. But our animal control doesn't seem to care. Because, well, My mother-in-law's doesn't seem to care. Actually, I don't think we've called animal control in okay, so oddly enough, we me and my husband live in Carson City, and my in-laws live in Carson City, but we live in Carson County and they live in Douglas County. It's a weirdness. Um so so anyway, there was a Great Dane running around threatening to bite people and scaring the HE double hockey sticks out of people too. And their animal control did not want to do anything about it. What, love? Come here. Hello. Come here. Come here. Hi. Hi, my baby. Honey, I'm streaming right now. Yeah. And would you please quit standing on my tummy? It's not that it hurts, it's just that you're pushing on it. Yeah, there you go. Well, actually, it does kind of hurt because he's so heavy, but it doesn't hurt like it used to. I'm guessing that the whole reason why it was hurting is because I needed my gallbladder removed and nobody ever noticed. It's just a theory of mine. I have no idea, but I did actually have it removed in July. It got like all inflamed or whatever, like an appendix, and I don't know. It was causing really bad pain. And so I thought, okay, it's just um a UTI like before. You get those kind of things when you don't drink enough water. Well, anyway, it wasn't that this time. But it was really weird because it did feel like it. And they went and did the CAT scan or whatever it is. The one where you go through that tunnel thing and you gotta be really still, and they go and make sure you have a warm blanket and all that. But anyway, they go and put you through that, and it turned out I needed my gallbladder removed, and I'm like, and after talking to my aunt, I'm like, gee, thanks for telling me, people. Cause nobody told me anything about my aunts getting the gallbladder out, and since they're my father's sisters, since they're my dad's sisters, because I don't call him father, I call him dad. That just sounds wrong to call him father. You know, I think that is the reason why I don't like calling people father and mother, is because like mommy dearest. Like mommy dearest, that's a mother. You know, but then the person you like because they treat you nice and maybe take you to the ice cream parlor and stuff like that, that's mom. But that's just my opinion. Take you to the library. My mama always took me to the library. Now, our mom tried to take us to the library one time. We We went. We all got a book out of the library. And then we never went again because my brother and sister are not readers. I am, but they are not. So, so it didn't really work. Um, yeah, that's really weird because I remember we went to mom's friend's house. And I don't even remember what friend either. But anyway, we went to mom's friend's house and I was all excited because it had stairs. So I went up the stairs just to go up the stairs. And then I think I came right back again. But I keep on having this perfect memory of seeing myself up the stairs. And that doesn't make any sense because I wouldn't have been able to see myself. Because I was myself. I don't know. I don't get it. But yeah. Oh, another thing I was saying is that books make great Christmas presents. And if you're one of those people who likes to give tricks instead of treats or tricks with your treats, um, a book might be a good idea too to put in there. Um, Especially for the kids, a um, adopted Coral would be great. It's it's a children's book and it doesn't have too many big words. In fact, I know it's got like two. And like I know it has two, but there's just no other way to say medicine without saying medicine. I tried. Okay, so anyway, there's medicine and pound that I know of in that book because there's just no other way to say that. And I said kitty pound instead of shelter or something like that because pound is a lot easier to say. Or like animal shelter. Um, because we got Coral from the Nevada Humane Society in Reno, and well, we got her and her sister Nancy, although they thought she was a Lance at the time. They thought she was a boy, and then it turned out, nope, she's a girl. So that was a lot better because, I mean, I didn't think we were going to have any fights because they'd been together all their lives. They're just used to each other. But, it was probably better that way because, no kitten making. Although somebody said that, said it like they were litter mates. So, I don't know. But anyway. Because one was gray and one was orange. Coral was gray with peach spots. And, Nancy was definitely an orange cat with yellow stripies, like blonde stripies on her. We only had her for about 3 years, and then she decided to move across the street because there was another orange cat. And Coral was upset because, like, all of a sudden she didn't have a sister. And the whole reason why that happened is because we had a sliding glass door. It was weird. We had the front door, and then we had the sliding glass door, like right next to it. I mean, I think that's so you could get furniture in and out. But we had it open because we did not have air conditioning. And she, he didn't lock it before he left. He just left it. So, I asked him to shut it and lock it before he left, and he didn't do it. She slid it open and got outside. Well, then when she wanted to come back in at like 2 o'clock in the morning, the door was shut already, and I couldn't let her in. So, yeah. That was her first time outside by herself, so she just assumed that she had the wrong house, even though I think she saw me. Anyway, but then she knew that we were there because she'd, pop up every once in a while and go, "Yeah, I'm still alive." It's like, okay, cat, whatever. But then we got to move, eventually. We got to move into, well, we got Ben. I think we had Coral, Nancy, and Ben for a while, and then it was no, we couldn't have Ben then. So we must have gotten him afterwards. And him and Coral weren't friends because he was able to make kittens and she wasn't. And she was very protective from the waist down. So he wasn't going to be able to get in there unless he really tried. And he didn't know how to charm people then, so he's always trying to talk to Bobby and get her to come down and, be a cat with them. And it's so cute. It is so cute. Watching them. I mean, watching him try to be nice to her. I keep trying to tell the boys that if they're nice to her, then she'll learn to be nice to them. And it's starting to work. Starting. But I'm still worried about the Christmas tree in December. Because I don't know if Bobby's ever. I'm pretty sure she's had a Christmas tree, but I don't know if she's one of those cats that's like, "Ooh, it's a tree, let's climb it," or if she's more of a let's admire it from afar. The boys just about every year try to knock it over and succeed. I, I don't think they did it last year, but I think they've done it most every time besides that. But we actually have a sturdier tree this year. My dad gave me his Christmas tree that he had. It's either the one that that we had when I was a kid, or it's the one that replaced that one. But either way, it's green. It actually looks like a Christmas tree. It doesn't have yellow on it. It doesn't have snow. It's green. And it's not that blue green either. It's, actual forest green. It's nice. I will probably take video this year. At least put a short. We can't do the blinking, the chase lights anymore though. Which really sucks because I used to love the chase lights. But I have a really big problem with if things are moving around, pulsating. I have a really big problem with that. It it kind of makes me feel like I'm standing under fluorescent lights. They're like sucking my life essence out, like on Joe versus a Volcano. You'd have to watch it to see what I'm talking about. Joe versus the Volcano has Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan in it. It's got some other people that are very recognizable too, but I either don't know their names or I do know their names and I just can't think of them at this moment. But I like that movie. Yeah, because I'm imagining two of the characters on there, and I'm pretty sure they're famous actors. One of them was on Married to the Mob as one of the minions. The other one... I don't know. I'm imagining the guy from America's Most Wanted, but I'm not entirely sure it was him. Pretty sure it was somebody else. And fun fact for you, do you know why he came up with the TV show America's Most Wanted? Because his son fell victim to some bad guy who decided that he didn't need to be alive anymore. So he came up with that show to make sure it doesn't happen again. I was just thinking of something I could do, but I don't think it would go over so well. Because not everybody knows the problems that happen at that W store. Like, okay, so there's an episode of the A-Team. Oh yeah, A-Team is another one that I watched a lot in Greatest American Hero, but this episode was on the A-Team, and they're, what were they picking? I don't know. They were working in the field. I want to say cotton, maybe. We'll just go with cotton. So they were supposed to be picking cotton, but they're picking cotton for somebody else. It's not their cotton field. It's their workers, and they're getting paid like $3 an hour to Yeah, they're getting paid like $3 an hour. They're not even getting paid enough to feed their kids, to have medical for their kids or anything like that. And so the A team gets involved and they start a union for the workers. And um and the bad guys get wise to it, but the A team's smart. They go and tell they went and leaked the information that they were going to the one building and they were actually going to a different building. Or they went to that building but they were there earlier or something like that. Anyway, and so they're over in the other area counting the votes while the bad guys are like trying to um get them in the building. And anyway, I kind of wanted to do that for, actually, not kind of, I want to do that for Walmart. I know it's going to take money, and I know nothing about starting a union, but I would really like to start one for the Walmart workers because they feel like they have no rights. I've been one of them before. It's literally Walmart's got the mentality that if you don't want to do the work, we'll find somebody who will. There's plenty of workers out there. But the problem is that they go and yell at you because you're yelling at them because you want your break. You need your break. And excuse me, but here in America, at least, you have a right to that break. You have a right to your lunch. I mean, you have the right to 2 breaks and a lunch at whatever job you're doing. And I could have, like, Better Business Bureau or something. Literally, I could get them OSHA violation, I think. I think OSHA is the one that goes and makes sure that the places that they go into are safe for customers to go into. And Walmart is not. We've actually seen shelves fall down on people. Like, I don't know if it was when we were working there or when we were shopping. I think we were shopping. But, and it might have been, okay, so we used to work at Walmart, but not for Walmart. We worked for another company called Advantage. Or my husband worked for, and my husband also worked for another company called DaCosta. I don't know if either one of those are in business anymore, but we worked for them for a little while there. And it could have been at that point. But anyway, all I did was put a finger on a shelf and it fell. So then I don't know if we put it back on there or if we went and got somebody to help or what, but that shelf finally got put back on where it was supposed to be. It's very dangerous. If you go and try to, if you're a short person, can't find any tall people, and you try to climb on one of those shelves, I would totally recommend you don't. But anyway, let's talk about pleasanter things. Oh, I finally got, okay, so we went, because of that ordeal that person put me through, and they don't care. They were just trying to get money out of somebody, but well, they were trying to get money out of me. But, they were just trying to get money out of somebody that they don't know at all whatsoever, but they didn't care that they were making me scared that I was going to be, in jail because I didn't get this jury duty summons. And, I didn't get this jury duty summons. And you can't go to something without, I mean, you can't know that you're supposed to have jury duty unless they give you paperwork, and I didn't get any paperwork, so like I said, I was freaking out. It turned out okay, I think, in the end. I'm not entirely sure. Because I want, for my peace of mind, I want to go over there and ask questions at the police station because, and if I can, turn their butts in. I mean, unless it's for real, and then I don't think it is though, because Nicole said it wasn't. Nicole said that she's had a whole bunch of people. I mean, she was talking like she had a whole bunch of people falling for this scam, so. Because the guy sounded so real, but on the other hand, he kept saying 10-4 like Burt Reynolds on Smokey and the Bandit, and that's not how the policemen say it. We've talked to, because we usually have older cars, and sometimes we couldn't afford the registration for a little bit, like we needed to wait until the next paycheck or something like that. And the one time I was so upset, I didn't know what we were going to do because we were supposed to be going out of town the next day, I think it was. And, like the next day was a Saturday. And, like I think it was our son's birthday or something like that. And we could not do anything about it because, it was too late that day to go to the DMV, even if we'd had the money. And the DMV wasn't going to be open until Monday. So, I don't exactly know how that one went. Except for that I burst into tears because we needed to go, and my father-in-law needed his vehicle at the time. So it was like, what do we do? I don't know how, but I'm pretty sure we got it all settled and, so we could go. But I don't know. I don't remember. But that was probably while we were working at Advantage. I don't think that would have been while we were working at Walmart. We seemed to be doing pretty good when we were working at Walmart, actually. If you got two people working at Walmart from your family and, they're both giving money to the household bills, then, you're pretty good. Or at least, with our two incomes, because it was like, he was making 20 to 22 or something like that. We'll say 20. I think he was making 20. And I was making almost as much as that. At one point, I was making, whatever he was making because it wasn't 20 yet. But I was making more than him just for a little bit there. And then I think they gave him a raise again. But it was pretty cool. I actually liked working at Walmart, except for some of the customers and a lot of the managers. Because it's like, I don't care I'm on the front register. If I have to go to the bathroom, I have to go to the bathroom. You cannot stop that. Oh, yeah. And, they've got liquid hand sanitizer in the bathroom. That's part of the reason why we're all stuck with COVID, because it says soap and water. It does not say liquid hand sanitizer and water. It's not the same thing. In fact, liquid hand sanitizer is pretty much what hand soap turns into if it's been left in a warm place too long, and it does not work. So if you're having the problem of your hand soap doesn't seem to be working, it's probably because you left it in too warm a spot for it. We buy the big bottles and then pour it into a little smaller container for the bathroom itself, but we keep the big bottle downstairs here in the kitchen. It's usually it's usually the cool dry place that it needs. But I noticed that I noticed so many horrible things when it was COVID. Like people would lick their fingers so they could get that $5 bill out to pay their thing, and I'm like, ew. And I'd hold it by one corner when when I had to go and put it in the register. Uh I'd hold it by one corner and would not touch the rest of it. Because like they just coughed into their hand, and then they're licking their fingers so they can get the the $5 bill or the $20 bill, whatever it was, out. And I'm like, I don't want to touch that. That's disgusting. And I couldn't work with gloves because they don't have gloves that are perfect for my hand. I know they're supposed to come in small, medium, and large, but like small is too. I think it was small was too small. Medium was either too small or too large. Large was obviously way too big. Um. Anyway, like I'm somewhere in between a small and a medium, and it doesn't work. Anyway. What else? Oh, well, just in case you didn't watch the other video, the part of um the part of Lessons in Love that I'm at right now, Sam Crenshaw and Ashley are about to have a dinner date in her bedroom because she refuses to go to the dining room. And Jesse and Chantel came in, and Jesse went and put down a plate of food in front of. I think I really need to fix that, by the way. Okay, so like they put down the plate of food. But did they put down the plate of food on the plate? Did they put it on the desk? Did they put it on the floor? I didn't really give details on that. Like I made the reader assume. And I don't like that. I really don't like that. Like, like you're sitting, like the character's sitting at a red light, and a moment later they were able to go again. But did the light actually turn green? No idea. I don't like assuming that. Or like Pepper pulled the pie out of the refrigerator and, Pepper pulled the pie out of the refrigerator and set it on the counter to thaw or wait for dessert or whatever, and I never said that she closed the door. I don't like doing that. I just do not like assumptions, and it's not okay. So I usually say she went and closed the refrigerator, and in that case it would have been she closed the refrigerator and put the pie on the counter, possibly right next to the refrigerator. Although there's supposed to be more than one refrigerator. I think actually in my story there's like supposed to be one refrigerator, but that doesn't make any sense. And in my Minecraft file, there's, the refrigerator, and then there's a refrigerator room. I mean, a refrigerated room with more stuff. And there's a freezer room. But that's just because there's like so much more space in my Minecraft file that I'm like, what do I put here? And then so it ends up being a refrigerator, a refrigerated room and a freezer room. Although I don't think the freezer room is gonna have the the door that pretty much locks automatically behind you. You can't get it open. I saw that on I saw it on The Nanny, and I saw something like that on Happy Days, I think. But I can't think of who would have been stuck in there on Happy Days. But Fran is the one that got stuck on that got stuck in the freezer. Where? Yeah, I haven't seen that. I have not seen that episode in a while. But the thing is that um, Fran left a message on the answering machine, and of course nobody's home. So so her best friend, because I can't remember her name, but anyway, her best friend took a tape recorder and recorded all of the sounds behind Fran, or, in the room that Fran was in, when she was making the call. And how did she get to the phone if she was in the freezer? But that's not the point here. And one of the things was an ice cream truck, that played Music Box Dancer. If you don't know what an ice cream truck is, it's like it's a truck that goes around neighborhoods, and it has a lot of ice cream, and like ice cream sandwiches, and choco tacos, and like all kinds of different ice cream, and you pay them the $2 or whatever it is to buy the thing. Although I remember a time when it was way less than $2. It was like 50 cents, and I only had a quarter or something like that for anything that I really wanted. They used to have those really big Otter Pops. It's like a popsicle. It's a tube popsicle, but this was like a huge tube popsicle. Anyway, so that particular ice cream truck though played Music Box Dancer. And I don't know who does Music Box Dancer, otherwise I'd give that too. You know what? Hold on a sec. Okay, Google didn't know what Music Box Dancer was. It's definitely a song.
Got it. Here's certainly a jitterbug tilde on YouTube.
Hey Google, shut up! Stupid machine. Oh, okay. Music Box Dancer by Frank Mills. And it's apparently piano music. And okay, so I thought when you have a GOLGLE home device that it was supposed to be GOLGLE in miniature. How come the one on the computer knows more than the little unit that the little home device on my desk? I do not understand this. And my home device acts stupid 95% of the time. Or maybe it's acting unintelligent. Like yesterday we were asking a question. Oh, we were asking, when does President Trump's presidential term end? And because of the fact that he's been it twice, Um, she's going, I don't understand. Well, my husband finally asked it a way that it could understand and finally got the answer like just seconds uh after I had, or seconds before, I think, actually I had looked it up. I had looked it up and found out the answer like seconds after he got it to finally say that it was 2028. So then I'm like, why are they bugging us with election stuff now? Well, apparently they're trying to do a midterm election thing because they say that President Trump's not doing so hot. And I hope that he's okay. I really do. Okay, I don't like Obama, but if Obama was sick, then I would hope that he gets all better soon. I'm not going to be sitting there going, I hope he, you know, goes on his extended vacation and I don't have to hear from him ever again. I'm not going to say that. That's just wrong. You know, even if he is uh, even if he's an unscrupulous, lying person, and I know he is because he definitely had a smile on his face several times that was saying, haha, I don't, I'm not even from here, but I'm your president. you know, at least Trump, President Trump, sorry, um, at least him, we know he's from America. We watched him, um, be successful in the 80s, lose his money sometime after that, and come back again. Hello? Well, I don't know if he lost all of his money, but he probably did. Um, and I think that's what they say. So, like, he lost all of his money, and then he came back again. But anyway, I remember being, like, really happy, really happy that he was, um, that he'd been able to be successful enough to own his own businesses and stuff. And, it's just, you knew Donald Trump, he's a rich person. And, like everybody in the 80s knew of Donald Trump and President Reagan. And, and then I remember hearing later he lost all of his money. And then I was like, wait a minute, he's rich again, So I was like, yeah, that's awesome. And then, when I heard that he's a Christian and pretty sure a Republican, that was like awesome. So I made sure to vote for him. And maybe all the supposed problems he supposedly was giving the first time was he was trying to, nobody thought of that. He was trying to clean up the mess that Obama and his people had put in. course, I'm still angry at Obama for trying to make it a holiday tree. I think him and God would have had a very big argument if that one would win over. You know, because it's been a Christmas tree all my life, and I am not putting up a holiday tree. I'm putting up a Christmas tree. You know, I'm just saying, but for a while there, I thought it was going to be like, um, okay, so I think it was Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. They were like, we're going to worship God. But this guy, because I can't remember his name, um, he was like, no, you're going to worship me. And so they just kept doing what they were doing, you know, worshiping God. And then they got thrown in the fiery furnace, and they were just fine. And they, you know, they had thrown Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego. That's three people. Or if you're watching VeggieTales, it's Rack, Shack, and Benny. But yeah, um, but anyway, he was, you know, they were just fine. They were not burning or anything like that. And there was a fourth guy in there. And the bad guys are like, huh? We tossed three guys in there. How come, you know, how's there four? And I think it was Jesus or God or yes, or maybe just an angel. But anyway, and he saved the three guys from being burned up. And the cool thing was is that they got to walk out of it. But I can't, you know, I can't remember the whole thing yet. Uh, well, yeah, we'll say yet, cause I'll get there eventually. Um, you know, I like to like type out the Bible. Well, I wanted to type out the Bible, the whole thing this time. I got to a certain point and thought I had done the whole entire thing, and except for Revelation, and then I found out I didn't. So I need to finish that. But yeah, I think I know exactly what happened though. I was like working on that and realized I need to start getting my books together. You know, I need to edit my books, make sure that they get done, and there's always, if I can start making some money, or my husband wants to get me a really good Christmas present after he starts making money, um, there's always the ability to get the Bible on CD, which I'd be perfectly fine with if it works properly. Um, the CDs, they will work properly. I know that. But will the player play them correctly? I doubt that. Anyway, I bought that CD set for $40, $40 at the Walmart in Fairfield, California, when it was out by Anheuser-Busch factory, which now says Budweiser on the outside of the building, just in case you don't know what the heck I'm talking about. It's Anheuser-Busch. It is not the Budweiser factory, unless they renamed it, and I don't know that. But I think it's still Anheuser-Busch, actually, but it says Budweiser on the outside because nobody knew what an Anheuser-Busch was, apparently. Um, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on stream, but they make beer. And there's certain words that I have not been able to put into my title or on my video for some reason. And then I realize, oh, okay, that's a different way of saying that. And it's like, okay, fine. But okay, so like one of the times I was trying to name my video how to build a light up path. Or no, I was trying to name it how to build a lit path. And I don't understand what the problem with lit is because everything else didn't sound like it was a bad thing. Yeah, we're not getting any colorized houses today. I was hoping, but no. Anyway, I don't know what the problem was with lit path. So if you know what the problem is with lit or path or how to, please let me know. Maybe, I'm just saying, I don't think that's the case, but maybe TSMC-Minecraft has coined the phrase and nobody else can have that. How to whatever. I didn't think of that. I know that Park Pass, and I don't understand this because there's a whole bunch of people that have Park Pass as their name, but they were Provost Park Pass, and I guess nobody could pronounce it or something. So they were trying to make it easier on everybody by just busting it down to Park Pass. And then they got a thing saying that they were the only ones allowed to be named Park Pass. But then it was really weird because I found, Park Pass TV, which I think does Disney World videos, and, somebody else that's Park Pass. And I'm like, how can that be? They said that they're the only ones. And yeah, I don't get it. Maybe it's like they've been established that long, so they can still be that, but nobody else can be that afterwards. I don't know. Oh, the one with Melancholia. Um. Okay, so I have the Addams Family playing silently in the background on YouTube. So if you like the Addams Family, they probably have a whole bunch of videos on there, but I know they have at least 5. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, 12. So they have 12 of the episodes, and they've got like 22 episodes I want to say for each yeah, they got like 22 to 24 episodes, I think, in each season. There's only two. But they've got, like, what did I say, 12? For, 12 of the episodes out. That's significantly less than, or maybe that's all I found. But anyway, it could just be that that's all I found. Okay, so I'm gonna take out this, the rest of this, and then I gotta stop because I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I have to go upstairs. Gotta answer this dumb phone. It's only dumb because it's letting the scammers in.
Attention needed. Hi there. You're pre-approved for instant cash.
Yeah, to get a loan. Kind of hard to get a loan when you got no job. To pay it back with. Actually, I did get a loan one time. And I think I think it was a loan, actually. But anyway, and I had the job at the time, but then I think I had gotten fired like a week or two after, something like that. Anyway, and my husband had to pay it off, and they did not understand at all whatsoever. Well, now if that happened, now if something like that happened, then we could just have him put the money into my Cash App, me put the money into my bank, and then we go and pay the bill, and they don't have to know that he's the one paying it. But I don't know if that's okay or not. I mean, usually if they're getting a payment out of somebody, they're happy. But it was so confusing. And oh yeah, that was the other thing. That creepy guy that was calling me about the jury duty even had my maiden name. So either somebody's out there selling my information or this thing is for real and we need to take care of it. But by the time that we went over there, the guy said he was going to be there in the office waiting for me, and there was nobody there. Okay, so that's the front of the hospital. Yeah, this is the front of the hospital. We're probably going to we're probably going to put the elevator right about here and squeeze in stairs over here somewhere. Anyway, ah! Hey! Nope. I'm gonna go wake him up. Hold on. Okay. Oh, yeah! Get dressed. Megan, the Peoples is here. Okay, anyway. I gotta end this, so. Anyway, we're gonna try to put in some stairs here somewhere, and Um, so before Megan came, I was trying to say that, they were probably going to try to squeeze in some stairs right about here. And we'll have to figure out the rest of it. But first, we're going to get all this out of the way. Just not right now. No, I think I'm going to put my character right down here. Okay. So I don't know if I said that part. I know I said about the books, but if you're watching me on Twitch right now, please follow and chat. Hey, I got 2 viewers. Hi, viewers. And if you're watching me on YouTube right now, please like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell. And oh, wait a minute. Let me see, because this is very important to me. Very, very important. I can imagine the one cat walked up to the other cat and said, "You're adopted." Because the other cat's saying, "You lie." So, on Native Village Jungle, 696 views, and I think that's freaking awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, we are up to 503 subscribers, and we've got 4,789 views in the last 28 days, with only 1,567 of them counting as valid public watch hours. On the other hand, we've got 109 valid public watch hours, just 109, out of 3 million, so yeah. Anyway, yeah, we need to get those public watch hours up, and then I think I will be able to start making some kind of money. And it says I will receive 70% of net revenue. That is really cool. Anyway, so please help me get my valid public watch hours up. I need 3,000 of them right now. And then for the other goal, I need 497 more subscribers, and 4,000 minus 1,567 more public watch hours. So, valid public watch hours. Anyway, I will see you in the next stream or video.